Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of one of the most captivating legends in the history of science and magic, the Philosopher's Stone. Imagine a substance so powerful it could turn base metals into gold, heal any ailment, and even grant immortality. For centuries, this was the dream of alchemists, the Philosopher's Stone, also known as the Stone of Wisdom. But what drove these alchemists? Beyond the allure of wealth and eternal life, there was a deeper, almost spiritual quest. Alchemists saw their work as a path to enlightenment, a way to understand and harmonize with the fundamental forces of nature. The idea of the Philosopher's Stone first emerged in the early days of alchemy. Medieval alchemists were obsessed with the notion of transforming everyday metals like tin and copper into the most precious of all metals, gold. They believed that somewhere in nature, there was a miraculous substance capable of performing this transmutation. Originally, alchemists thought this substance was a literal stone. Over time, their theories evolved, and they began to experiment with creating powders or liquid elixirs. The key ingredients? Sulfur and mercury. These two elements, representing the soul and spirit, were thought to hold the secret to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. In their relentless pursuit, alchemists laid the groundwork for what we now know as modern chemistry. Through countless experiments and the meticulous study of reactions, they discovered principles that would become the building blocks of scientific inquiry. So, is it possible to create a philosopher's stone? Let's dive deeper into the alchemical practices, the breakthroughs, and the enduring mystery surrounding this legendary substance. The roots of alchemy stretch back to ancient civilizations. The Egyptians practiced an early form of alchemy, focused on mummification and the transformation of materials. They believed that understanding the properties of substances and how they interacted could reveal the secrets of life and death. The famous emerald tablet, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, encapsulates the core of Hermetic philosophy, which greatly influenced alchemical thought. This mystical text, inscribed with the phrase, "as above, so below," suggests a fundamental connection between the cosmos and the human soul. In ancient China, alchemy took on a different form, with Taoist alchemists seeking the elixir of immortality. They believed in harmonizing with the natural world and used minerals and plants to create life-prolonging substances. Chinese alchemists made significant contributions to metallurgy and medicine, blending practical techniques with spiritual insights. During the Islamic Golden Age, alchemy flourished as scholars translated and expanded upon Greek, Egyptian, and Chinese texts. The Persian polymath Jabir ibn Hayyan, known in the West as Geber, is often called the father of chemistry. He introduced experimental techniques and the concept of the philosopher's stone as a substance that could perfect not only metals, but also the human soul. The Islamic alchemists laid the foundation for European alchemy, with their works eventually reaching medieval Europe through translations. European alchemists, such as Albertus Magnus and Roger Bacon, continued this tradition, blending alchemical practices with Christian theology. They saw alchemy as a divine art, where the transformation of metals was a metaphor for the purification of the soul. Alchemists like Paracelsus and Nicolas Flamel became legendary figures, rumored to have discovered the secret of the philosopher's stone. Their experiments were shrouded in secrecy, filled with mystical symbols and coded language. They believed that creating the philosopher's stone required not just chemical processes, but also a transformation of the alchemist's soul, a journey of inner purification and enlightenment. Paracelsus, a Swiss physician and alchemist, revolutionized medicine by insisting that chemistry should be applied to create pharmaceuticals. He believed that the true purpose of alchemy was to produce medicines that could cure diseases and restore health, viewing the philosopher's stone as a panacea. Nicolas Flamel, a French scribe and alchemist, is often depicted in legend as having discovered the secret of the philosopher's stone. According to the myth, Flamel's studies of alchemical texts led him to uncover the method for creating the stone, granting him and his wife immortality. Although historical evidence of Flamel's alchemical achievements is scant, his legacy endures in popular culture and literature. Imagine the dimly lit laboratories of medieval Europe, where the air was thick with the scent of sulfur and the flickering light of candles cast eerie shadows on the walls. Alchemists, draped in heavy robes, tirelessly worked over bubbling crucibles and mysterious flasks. They believed they were on the brink of uncovering the secrets of the universe. Their quest was not just for material wealth, but for spiritual awakening, a transcendence of the human condition through the perfection of both matter and soul. The Philosopher's Stone was more than a tool for these mystical scientists. It was a symbol of ultimate purity and enlightenment. They believed that this miraculous stone could unlock the divine essence within all things, turning not only metals but also the human soul into a vessel of divine wisdom. This pursuit mirrored the era's spiritual aspirations, intertwining science, philosophy, and mysticism. Fast forward to the 17th century, the Age of Enlightenment and Scientific Revolution, where the alchemical quest for the Philosopher's Stone took on new dimensions. Figures like Isaac Newton, known primarily for his laws of motion and gravity, also dabbled in alchemy. Newton's alchemical manuscripts reveal his quest to understand the principles that govern the transformation of matter, a pursuit that paralleled his groundbreaking work in physics and mathematics. This era marked the beginning of a shift from mystical alchemy to empirical science. However, the mystical and philosophical underpinnings of alchemy continued to influence scientific thought. The idea of transforming and purifying substances found a new home in the developing field of chemistry. For centuries, alchemists sought the elusive Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance that could turn base metals into gold and grant immortality. Their quest laid the foundation for modern science and continues to inspire. And the main question still remains: can we really create the Philosopher's Stone? No. But modern science has achieved feats that would seem like magic to the alchemists of old. For example, nuclear scientists have managed to transmute elements, effectively turning lead into gold. This process, known as nuclear transmutation, involves changing the number of protons in a nucleus to transform one element into another. In 1980, Nobel laureate Glenn Seaborg accomplished this by bombarding bismuth with heavy ions, converting a tiny amount into gold. However, this method is incredibly costly and impractical for large-scale production. Another fascinating example comes from particle accelerators, which can transform elements by smashing atomic nuclei together with immense force. The Large Hadron Collider at CERN, for instance, can create new elements, albeit for mere fractions of a second. These experiments show that the principles alchemists dreamt of aren't entirely out of reach. They just require advanced technology and immense energy. In contemporary times, the Philosopher's Stone remains a powerful metaphor in both science and literature. It symbolizes the quest for knowledge, the desire to transcend ordinary limitations, and the transformative power of human curiosity. While we may never find a literal philosopher's stone, the spirit of alchemy lives on in every scientific discovery and every push beyond the boundaries of the known. It's a reminder that the journey itself, our pursuit of knowledge and understanding, is the true elixir of life.